おはようございます。はい、今日も朝のHoudini作業配信やっていこうと思います。ようやく年内の仕事も一段落したので、またちょっと気持ちを切り替えて配信をマイペースにやっていこうかなと思います。今日も昨日に引き続きまたベラムをやろうかなと思ってます。結構ベラムできること多いんで、いろんな作例を通して、ちょっと身につけていきたいなと思います。まだちょっと勘どころがわからないので、はい。では、動画を流します。
Hey guys, I'm Nick and today we will be working with Vellum and creating this abstract and organic shape. So once we render it out and do a little bit color correction, it should look like this. And like this, and this. Actually, those three frames are just from one simulation. This one is from the early frames of the simulation, and this one somewhere in the middle, and this is when everything is completely messed up. So yeah, let's start. First of all, we will
はい。今日はこんな感じのヘアシミュレーションを使った、抽象的な形状をワイヤーフレームで作ろうと思います。Houdiniはいつも通り 18.5 で、デスクトップも多少マテリアルとアウトがあるようにカスタマイズをしてます。はい。では、
need GeoNode, so we will be redoing what I've already done from scratch. So here in GeoNode, we just go into it, and the idea behind this project is that we will have a line that will be our hair geometry, and we will scatter it and copy to the scattered points of the target geometry, and after that we will apply a Vellum simulation and also work with the individual points. So let's start with a single line. Now you can see that it just has 2 points, and we need much more, so our simulation is smooth, and we can bend these hair like individual hairs in all directions, like, yeah. And also we will need a donut, also named Taurus, and here we will need to transform it in the way, so we just flatten it a little bit. Now we will need to scatter it.
It doesn't disturb me because I don't think anything would stay.
And we will start with 1,000 points, and we will adjust this number later on. Now we will need to copy the line to the points that we've just scattered, and it looks like this. Now if you attach the Vellum simulation to this setup, our hair strings or lines will just fall down, or will just go in all directions if you have zero gravity enabled. So what we need to do is add a group expression, and what it actually does, let's name it line bottom point, or line first point. And here, if you click on this little drop down, you will see a bunch of cool presets and cool expressions. And what we need is first point of primitive. And group type should be point. What we are doing here, we are getting the first point. Let's disable this one. We are getting the first point of the line of the primitive. So now we have our basic setup. We can attach Vellum Hair and Vellum Solver. So, like this. If I press play right now, everything just goes down because we haven't attached the hairs to the target geometry, which is our torus, or scattered from the torus points. So here you have a pin to animation, and here in pin points you can just click on this drop down and select your group. In our case it's line bottom point. And now you will see that our strands and lines are falling, but they are attached to this points that we selected into the group. Now we can just play with the Vellum Solver. So what I like to do is in the Forces tab, disable the gravity, and let's hop inside of the solver. And here I would like to place a pop force. Yeah, the pop force. This will influence our hair, so it will be messy. And also I would like to add a pop attract, and pop attract is really crucial in this project, because if we set the reversal distance in the Force tab to, let's say, 20, you will see how they just bend over, and it's kind of a human eye, the iris of the eye, but we will create a little bit different effect today. So in the pop force, it's actually a trial and error thing, so you can use just any settings that you want. Let's see what we get here. A pretty decent result. I would say something like this should work. Yeah, definitely. I like how this looks. So right now this should work. Yeah, definitely. I like how this looks. So right now we've set how we like our force and attract node to influence our geometry. And right now let's just increase the scattering points to like 8,000. Yeah, this one looks good. What you can do here is in the Vellum solver. Now let's get to creating more like interesting result. Let's play our simulation and grab a few frames. Okay, so let's say we are good with this frame. Now we will attach the connect adjacent pieces, and this will instantly make us a bit more interesting result. So here in the connection type, just select adjacent point, and you can play with these settings. You will see how individual strings become connected between each other, creating really interesting geometry. But to make it look more natural, more organic, we will need to add attribute blur. And here, now you can see that nothing really changed. Okay, yeah, now nothing changed. But if we uncheck pin border points, and now we can create really organic look. And you can play with the step size. So something like this feels good to me. Okay, great. Maybe we can do more connections. Yeah, something like this. Feels organic enough to me. Okay, so for this project, that's all that needs to be done in Houdini. And the good thing is that you actually can export wall animation. So from this to this, and you see that how connect adjacent pieces and attribute blur is working here, creating really cool effect. So yeah, starting from this kind of sphere, not the sphere but tube, and then it morphs in a really organic way. Okay, so now let's export our Alembic file and continue working in Cinema 4D. For this we will need Alembic output, and here let's just specify where we want our Alembic file to be exported, and be sure that valid frame range is render current frame, which is this 38, and hit save to disk. Okay, we opened our Cinema 4D and
Cinema 4D でどうやらやるようです。
best advices I can give to you, just save your file. So I've saved this file and let's start working with it. So here we have our Alembic. I've named it connected tutorial, and let's just drop it inside. Here all the settings we will leave default, and we can just scale it to meters here. Now, what we can do to make it look interesting. Let's adjust the Octane render settings first of all. So we'll be working with the fast tracing kernel, and here I have my preset. It's basically, yeah, a preset. So we are using 1024 samples. I know that for this particular project we might use something like 3000, because we will have a lot of geometry. Not the actual geometry, we will be rendering this at the hair. And here, let's go to the signal for the Octane and Octane object tag, and here let's take a render as hair. And now we also need a camera. Here let's just 0, minus 90, 0, and 0. Yeah. Maybe I want this angle. Yeah. Okay. Now if we turn our render, nothing shows up. That's basically because we don't have any light sources. And let's drop an Octane area light, and let's drop a null, and here add a target tag and drop our null into the target tag. Now we can manipulate our light, and it will be always pointing in the correct direction, into the direction of the null. Now what we can do also is just make this light source a little bit bigger and a little bit narrower, so we have these harsh shadows. Also, I would say that we don't need that much of a light, but we might need light from another angle, just like this. Like this, and also a bit smaller. Yeah, this looks good in terms of lighting. Now here we can play with them. This one is our left light, and this one is our right light. So for the left, oh, it's right, and this is left. Okay, so now we can play with the intensity. So let's bring one of them up and one of them down. Now you can clearly see that our hair is too thick, so let's do something like 0.2. Yeah, this looks much better. Yeah, I think I like it. Okay, right now let's play with the camera. In Octane, we don't need any depth of field for this particular object because there are so many thin lines, and we will just mess with the bokeh and all that blurring. So with the aperture, let's keep it at 0, so everything is in focus. Here let's also add a render region just to better visualize what's in the frame, and we will also need to set up it to the 1080p. Yep. And what I love to do is to use different lenses, the focal length of the lens. So this portrait, it looks really good, I think. But let's zoom out just a tiny bit.
It's something
Yeah,
that I feel like
I
really
think
needed to be
this
said. It is
will
a
work
bit
fine.
dark, you know, even that, like,
And here let's auto position, so we have everything
people actually do show us
centered. And now let's get to the, let's also hide our lights, and let's attach some glossy material so we have all these reflections coming. Let's try just a plain glossy white. Yeah, I love that. So yeah, in that when I was doing it in first time, I was using more of a shiny metal, and now I want to try something like this. Yeah, definitely like this. It gets really organic. So now what we can do, we can enable the camera imager here, enable the denoiser of course, and just play with the exposure a little bit, maybe up the gamma. Yeah, this looks good. Now we might have some hot pixels, so let's get this down to 0.65 ish. Yeah, now let's just render it out and open it in Photoshop. Yeah, here just use the alpha channel, and here also tick the alpha channel, use PNG, and yeah, let's render it out and open in Photoshop. Now we are in Photoshop, and now you can see how our render looks like in just like straight out of the Octane. So let's just add a black background, because for every Houdini effects render you gotta use black background, obviously. Now let's make our layer smart object, and what it does, it allows you to stack all your filters and adjustments here, and you will not lose your progress in case something goes wrong. You can just switch this or that filter on or off. Okay, now let's go to the filter that I'm using the most. It's Camera Raw. Yeah, now I just enabled before and after comparison, and here what I would like to do. So I see that we might need a little bit more exposure and a little bit more contrast. For me, I noticed that Octane render in some of the cases it lacks contrast a bit, just lacks a bit of sharpness. So yeah, basically for every project I add a tiny bit of exposure, maybe 0.5, 0.15 sorry, or 0.1, and in contrast you just gotta play with it. So also we might use a bit more highlights, like this, and decrease whites. In the texture, let's just add 5, a little bit more vibrance, and what I always do is add like 15 to 20 sharpness. Okay, seems pretty good to me. Okay, and yeah, when you're using this smart object layer, you can just toggle your filters and see how it looked before and how it looks now. Okay, now we can also adjust the color balance. Yeah, So for the highlights, I would like them to be a little bit more on a colder side, like this. And for the shadows, I would like them to be softer, something like this. Yeah. Okay. So I think we are pretty good. I like how this came up. And if you found this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's new, it's my first tutorial here, and it would be a great sign for me that to like continue creating these videos. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Hey guys.
なるほどね。ちょっと待ってよ。はい。一旦一通りレンダリングまで動画視聴してみました。Houdiniでレンダリングをするとなると、あれ、なんだこれ。そのままちょっとレンダリングしてみたら、まあ、とてつもなく太くなってうまくいかなかったので、一旦、アトリビュートで、まあ、ワイズでちょっと細くなるか調整してみて、で、まあ、こっからライティングとか、まあ、いろいろやっていこうかと思うんですが、まあ、レンダリングは後で適当に上げておきます。はい。では、今日はここまでにします。ご視聴ありがとうございました。